Hi, listeners. Stories have so much power, and so does whoever controls the narrative. It is time that we dissect and analyze these stories. I am Vipul, and this is WokeTales. Hi everyone, today's story is a myth which is said to have roots in India, Palestine, Puerto Rico, and Cuba. We will be talking about the Cuban version, the Cuban folktale of Martina the Beautiful Cockroach. Although this old folktale relies on old traditions of courting suitors, the values it conveys are timeless and remains important to this day. Martina doesn't know coffee beans about love and marriage. But with me, I have someone who I don't know how much she knows about love, but is a coffee lover and has had cockroach problem in the past. One of my dearest friends, Irma. Hi Irma, welcome on the show.
Hey.
So you're a coffee lover, right?
Oh, definitely. But I don't know much about the love part, but coffee, I know coffee.
Yes, I think that's important. So I'm very excited about this story. I'm excited about coffee, although one thing I'm not excited about is cockroaches. Do you like cockroaches?
No, I have my fair share. I'm good without the cockroaches.
Yeah, I think it's kind of rare that people might like them or not. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people like them. Anyway, on that note, let's get started. It's story time. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha was a beautiful cockroach. She lived in a cozy street lamp in Holes, Habana, with her big lovable family. Now that Martina was 21 days old, she was ready to give her leg in marriage. The Cucaracha household was crawling with excitement. Every señora in the family had something to offer. Tia Cuca gave her a seashell comb. Mama gave her a lace shawl. But Abuela, her Cuban grandmother, gave her some shocking advice. "You want me to do what?" Martina was aghast. "You are a beautiful cockroach," said Abuela. "Finding husbands to choose from will be easy. Picking the right one might be tricky." But, stammered Martina, "how will spilling coffee on a suitor's shoe help me find a good husband?" Her grandmother smiled. "It will make him angry. Then you'll know how he'll speak to you when he loses his temper. Trust me, Martina, the coffee test never fails." Martina wasn't so sure. Meanwhile, Papa sent the parrot to spread the word. Soon all Habana, from the sidewalks of El Pardo to Almoro Castle, was abuzz with news. Martina, the beautiful cockroach, was ready to choose a husband. As was the custom, Martina would greet her suitors from the balcony under her family's many watching eyes. Daintily, she sat down and crossed her legs and crossed her legs and crossed her legs. So I'm just going to mention it here that cockroaches have 6 legs. So that's another trivia.
No wonder should do it 3 times.
I know, right? So there's another trivia thing here for everyone. Cockroaches have 6 legs. All right. So back to the story. So yeah, she crossed her legs, and crossed her legs. She didn't have to wait long. Don Gallo, the rooster, strutted up first. Martina tried not to stare at his splendid shoes. Keeping one eye on his reflection, Don Gallo greeted her with a sweeping bow. "Caramba! You really are a beautiful cockroach. I will look even more fabulous with you on my wing." With that, he leaned forward and crooned, "Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife?" Martina hesitated only for an instant. "Coffee, senor?" Right on cue, Abuela appeared. With a quick glance at her grandmother, Martina nervously splattered coffee on the rooster's spotless shoes. "Oh my," she said with a mock dismay. I'm all feelers today. Kikeriki! The rooster was furious. Clumsy cockroach, I'll teach you better manners when you are my wife. Martina was stunned. The coffee test had worked. A most humble offer, senor, she said coolly, but I cannot accept. You are much too cocky for me.
I don't
Don't-
know if this was.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I
No,
don't know
go
if this
ahead.
was intentional, but like the animals they picked, like for this instance, the cocky rooster.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but yes, I was like, really?
No, I
He's
think
so
that's
cocky.
a good point. I mean, I guess like maybe that's where the cocky term comes from the rooster.
Good point. Yeah, from the
I don't
rooster
know.
because they're so.
Yeah. Although I do know that, so I did some research and I did find out that the rooster is an important symbol in Cuban culture. It represents strength and power. And it is
Oh, okay.
considered a compliment for a man to be called rooster because, of the strength and power and everything. So I think having that kind of dominance part, kind of the cockiness comes through that. I don't know. It's maybe.
Probably it gives that
Yeah.
assertiveness. I guess I'm sure that they're trying to display in the story.
Right. Yeah, I think, the animals are picked based on their personality styles. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
All right, should I go on the next one?
Yes, let's go. I'll let you continue.
Okay, so Martina said no to the rooster. Then Don Cerdo, the pig, hoofed up next. His smell curled the little hair on Martina's legs. What an unimaginable scent, Martina wheezed. Is it some new pig cologne? Oh no, senorita, it is the sweet aroma of my pigsty. Rotten eggs, turnip peels, stinky cheese. Don Cerdo licked his chops and sang. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife? Martina had already left in search of coffee. She wasted no time with the pig. Squealed Don Cerdo as he dabbed at the coffee on his shoes. What a tragedy for my poor loafers. He really is quite a ham, thought Martina. Calm yourself, senor. I'll clean them for you. I'll say you will, he snorted. When you're my wife, there will be no end to cleaning up after me.
Oh boy.
Martina
But
rolled her.
every girl wants to hear.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he's the winner.
Oh yeah.
Martina rolled her eyes in disbelief. A most charming offer, senor, she said dryly, but I must decline. You are too boorish for me. The coffee test had saved her from yet another unsuitable suitor. What do
And
you
I'm
think?
saying good thing she dodged him. The coffee test helped her dodge him.
Yeah. Okay. So she says no to him as well. And then the pig was scarcely out of the sight when Don Lagarto, the lizard, crept up the railing. His oily fingers brushed the little cockroach's lovely mantilla. You shouldn't sneak up on a lady like that. I don't sneak, I creep, he said, circling Martina. For some reason, this fellow bugged her. I've had enough of creeps for one day, said Martina. Adios. But I need you. Wait. The lizard fell on one scaly knees and warbled. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife? Martina sighed. Let me see if there's some coffee left. This time she wasn't taking any chances. Martina returned with 2 cups for the lizard. Psst, psst, he spat. Don Lagarto was livid. He changed colors 3 times before he finally found his true one. And to think, he hissed, I was going to marry you. Martina stared at the lizard. You could have heard a breadcrumb drop. Food for thought, senor, Martina said icily. But I must refuse. You are too cold-blooded for me. When her grandmother returned to collect the day's coffee cups, Martina was still fuming. I'm going inside, Abuela. So soon? See, I'm afraid to whom I might meet next. Abuela drew Martina to the railing and pointed to the garden below. What about him? Martina looked down at the tiny brown mouse, and her cockroach heart began to beat faster. Oh, Abuela, he is adorable. Where has he been? Right here all along. What do I do? Go talk to him. and just be yourself. Martina handed Abuela her pineta and her mantilla, then scurried down the garden. The mouse was waiting. Hola, hello. His voice was like warm honey. My name is Perez. Hola, she whispered shyly. I am Martina, the beautiful cockroach, he finished for her. You think I'm beautiful? The little mouse turned pink under his fur. Well, my eyes are rather weak, but I have excellent ears. I know you are strong and good. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha. Then he squinted sweetly. Who cares if you are beautiful? Martina, don't forget the coffee. It was Abuela. No, thought Martina. No coffee for Perez. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha. See, Abuela. Martina knew better than to argue with her Cuban grandmother. With a heavy heart, she reached for the cup. But Perez got there first. Quick as a mouse, he splashed Cafe Cubano on Martina's shoes. Now the coffee was on the other foot. Martina was too delighted to be angry. At last she's found her perfect match. But she had to ask, how did you know about the coffee test? Perez grinned. Well, mi amor, my love, I too have a Cuban grandmother. Well done, little mouse. So, Irma, did you like the story?
I did. I mean, unfortunately, it was spilled coffee, but it had good reason. So, I mean, maybe I should start doing this coffee test.
I know. I think it's a good test to see how someone will behave with you when they are angry. Mm-hmm. And I've heard people say that try being on road with someone in traffic or try working with them with slow internet connection, which brings out their frustration and how they behave with you then.
See them at the worst before you jump into anything for real.
Right. So I really like the story. It was fun. It was playful. However, I do realize it's an old folk tale and relies on old traditions of courting suitors, as I mentioned in the beginning, but the values it conveys about mutual respect, kindness, compatibility, the mouse talking about valuing Martina's strength and niceness over her physical beauty are timeless values and remain important for any couple today.
Yeah, it's not just the superficial, like easy to see stuff. It's deeper than just beauty or appearance. Correct.
Right. Actually, I might change that because I don't care talking too much about marriage and romance and stories for kids. So I'd like all these values for any relation, irrespective to the presence of romance. So the first one was the rooster, who was taken away by her beauty, so it was about valuing the physical beauty. The second was the pig, who wanted Martina to clean and be the domestic help. And then came the lizard, who wanted to eat her and was trying to trick her and manipulate her.
No, they picked the animals to the T. Honestly, I was impressed. Like the lizard, sly, I guess creepy, stalker-ish.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times these first two characteristics of being physically attractive and then doing the household chores like cleaning up after are a lot of times associated with women in a relationship. So I'm glad that Martina said no. And although this is a story for kids, written with a playful narrative, it does have an undertone of values which are relevant, not just for a 21-day-old cockroach, but also a 21-year-old
person. Correct.
Yeah, person.
Correct.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you, because you said the coffee test was cool, but obviously might not be the most feasible test to do. So do you have a modern day version of the quote-unquote coffee test, or can you think of one?
I would do something like this. Sometimes I don't have one exact. I usually try to see if me and the person experience something difficult or inconvenient, and to see how we both interact or how they handle the situation. If they are either stressing me out more or if they are making me more nervous, then that's my coffee test. Like, oh no, this is not gonna work. But I guess I don't have a clear test. Now I might start using this. I feel like in my culture though, like in Bosnia, whenever a girl, like, they say is, oh, has she made coffee for you yet? So I guess their version is like, does it taste good? But now I'm like, well, what if the girls just spilled the coffee on the suitor's feet?
Yeah.
So now I feel like that should be a thing. We need to do this.
Yeah. I mean, coffee, if it's hot, I'd be quite mad as well if someone spills coffee on me. But yeah, I feel like Even though how mad I would be if someone spilled coffee on me, I would still try to maintain my composure just to be on my best behavior. Because I don't know if it was intentional, and I'd like to assume good intent, but I haven't had hot coffee spilled on me, so we'll see how my reaction would be. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And Martina, even though was tricking them, they didn't know that. And on the surface, it was still unintentional and an accident, so their outburst wasn't warranted.
True, like if it's accidental, or if I don't know, like whether it's not accidental or accidental, I'm more lenient or tolerable, I guess. I'll be like, okay, it happens. I drop things all the time. It's okay.
Yeah.
But depends. If it's purposeful, I might be a little angry. Probably very angry.
Right, yeah. But even like if I'm angry, I think I'll still try to maintain some composure. So I think I won't kind of exert my dominance that, you better.
I won't be a rooster.
Yeah.
Or a pig.
Like I'll discipline you now, or, something like that. I didn't think
You can
that.
clean up after me now.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit too extreme. And I feel like compatibility is not necessarily just for romantic love. I think it goes for everybody, even with your friends or your coworkers or anyone who you associate with. There has to be certain level of compatibility that you need to have. With work, it can be a bit tricky, but then you have to navigate that somehow.
True. If it's hard to have someone where you can actually work with them because of differences, just because, let's say if they were like the rooster, just difficult or cocky, it would be harder to, you guys would bump heads. So I agree with you. Maybe not like the coffee test, of course, but depending on workload, if someone's trying to constantly push their work on me, that could be a form of a coffee test.
Don't spill coffee on your coworkers.
Don't do that.
Right. Yeah. So are there any particular things which are big red flags for you that you will not want to associate with that person at all?
I would say it would be probably the way they treat others, like respect. If I'm with someone, they're not being respectful of others, that's when that would be the big red flag. It's like, if you're not respecting people around us, then how do I know I will have that same respect?
Right.
That I, my perception of respect. So therefore, it would probably be like a big red flag for me. I mean, everybody has their own red flags, but to me, that's a major one.
I agree. Being kind, being respectful are important to me as well. And being respectful to everyone and not just the people you know. There's a rule that treat people how you want to be treated, but we can modify it into treat people how they want to be treated. So don't be a jerk and treat everyone equally.
Yeah, not to pick and choose. That's true.
Another thing is that I don't like when people are wasteful or inconsiderate. Everyone is self-serving to a certain extent, but don't be self-absorbed. And I do have some pet peeves, but I don't know if they are deal breakers or not. So, I told you a little trivia in between the story about the cockroaches having 6 legs. So there is another trivia about Cuban cockroaches. Okay, so although many people do not find most cockroaches very appealing, some people keep them as pets. And Cuban cockroach is valued as a pet for its beautiful bright green color. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Because I was thinking, of all of the animals and bugs in the world, they chose a cockroach. So this is something different. Because usually, if you think of beautiful, you'll think of a butterfly, a ladybug.
Yeah.
It's something like that. That's what I was thinking. And then it's like a cockroach. Okay. Well, here we have a rooster who's very cocky, a pig who we all know they can be dirty. And I'm so then why the cockroach? But that makes perfect sense that if they're pretty and green, you have to Google one.
Yeah, everyone definitely Google green Cuban cockroaches and see if you can keep one as a pet. I don't know if I can still keep cockroach as a pet. But
same. I've had my fair share at where I used to live before. I've had my fair share.
I think you have had other people's fair share as well.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't need more pets. But luckily you have a kitty cat now. Is she a hunter or
no?
Does
No,
she not
she's
care?
not. No. She'll look at me and go, "Hey, human, what are you doing?
She's like,
can you take care of this?"
Yeah. She's like, "There's a cockroach in that room, so
can you go there? Go bring a fly swatter too, maybe. There's something waiting for you."
Yeah, there are actually two things waiting for you. A little bit of my vomit and a cockroach eating that vomit.
Yes. That would be my life. Yes, with Lola. Maybe I'm sure Vera and Demi are more likely to assist than Lola. She's like, no, not today.
So actually, yeah. So my cats, Vera and Demi, they are kind of hunters. Whenever they see a bug, they pat the bug and kind of push it around. So kind of like play with it. I don't know if they'd kill it, but they're definitely intrigued.
They're more likely to be like, okay, this could be like a little short-term entertainment. Like, let's see what it does.
Yeah.
But then Mitch is like, okay, no more.
Yeah, so I think they do like to, play around with the bugs. So they do take care of the bugs. So, okay, coming back to the story. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the lizard. It was interesting that it changed its color 3 times. And then finally, you see its true colors. Which I think goes with people too.
Her instead of like marry her.
So it goes with people as well. That you want to know someone for who they really are.
Seeing their true colors.
Right. And a very important line she said about not sneaking up on a lady like that, which addresses the issue of touching women inappropriately. Whether it's putting a hand on women's back as you pass by them, rubbing shoulders, groping, grabbing around their waist, men intentionally or unintentionally put their hands on women without their consent. I read this tweet which said, quote, I have never seen a man put his hand on another man's lower back or waist when trying to move past in a crowd, so please stop doing it to women, end quote. And I don't know if the story was trying to go there, but it made me think about street harassment.
It was just like shady. I was like, wow, how she he saw her when she's like not expecting it. Right, I mean, not that I'm sure she was poised anyway, but it just like, why when she least expects it?
Right. Yeah. And I think announce yourself. I don't know. It's it didn't sit too well with me. And the street harassment can be for both women and men. So I guess just be aware if you are invading someone's personal space.
True.
I think there was one other thing which I felt interesting. Was that Martina didn't want to do the coffee test on the mouse. Like, she didn't want to do that for him.
I was thinking that too. I was like, if, you have feelings for someone, wouldn't that be even more reason to test them? But of course, I know it's a folktale. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I would still want to, just so I know, like, is this person gonna get mad and want to eat me? Or expect me to, like, clean up after them or teach me obedience? So that's why I'm like, why not? I mean, of course, I'm sure the mouse is like, squeaky and clean, and the way she described him, it's just like so cute. I'm like, I want a pet mouse now too. I don't think I would want this, but I do.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a Tom and Jerry. They were best friends. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My real life Tom and Jerry.
Right. It could be because sometimes when you like someone, you don't want to see their flaws because you have those rose-colored glasses. So I felt that she was reluctant to test him because what if he failed the test? And she had already started liking him. So I felt
That's a good point.
Her judgment was clouded. And that's very common in relationships, that sometimes you don't see things objectively.
Correct. You're just so caught up in an idea of perfection that you see in them.
Yes. I think that idea of perfection.
I think both parties nowadays should do a coffee test. Not maybe this coffee test. God forbid we spill coffee. I mean, sorry, but rather drink it than spill it. But something along those lines, just so that way you're certain in your feelings, and of course know that like you have someone you're more compatible with. If you actually, I don't know if your viewers do have like their form of coffee test, if they can share this with you, and then if you could share this with me or like both of us, I would really appreciate it. I mean, I'm open for ideas, always open for ideas.
I think this is great actually. So if anyone listening, if you have a coffee test already, or if you think in future that you might have a coffee test, please let us know on our Instagram, Twitter, or through email. And we'll see if we can incorporate that in our lives, and it might help everyone. And maybe we come up with something new for this modern age, a standardized coffee test maybe.
Exactly. Like, we should all collaborate and, come up with the next new idea. The next best thing of the coffee test. So, yes,
God. Yeah,
for it.
this could be the next best thing after sliced bread. Our
Yes.
coffee test.
Our coffee
Wow.
test.
Damn. We are onto something, Irma. We are onto something.
You know, we try. We try.
Right. Okay. Well, on that note, I think it was great to have you, Irma. It was super fun. It was a fun story, and you were obviously, a fun guest. So thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a blast. I had a ton of fun. And I do love the story as well, so thank you.
So on that note, bye for now.
Bye.
Let me know your thoughts on the story and our discussion by emailing me on woketalespodcast@gmail.com or through social media at WokeTalesPodcast on Instagram and WokeTalesPod on Twitter. And please rate, review, and like WokeTales Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe so you can easily access our weekly stories. If you have any story recommendations, or if you want to come dissect and analyze a story with me, give me a shout out on email or social media. Because whatever you do, keep dissecting and keep analyzing.